Ladies and gentlemen, I want to speak to your spirit today, not just to your ears, not just to your mind, but to the deepest part of you that knows you were born for something greater. There is something unusual and powerful about the early hours of the morning. If you ever find yourself waking up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., don't ignore it. That's not just your body stirring. That's often a call to attention, something divine, something urgent. Something within you is asking for your awareness. You see, the early hours of the morning are sacred, the world is quiet, distractions are few, the noise of life is asleep, and in that stillness your soul has space to speak. God has room to whisper. Purpose has time to rise. Many people think waking up at that hour is just random, but I want to tell you, nothing in your life is random. You are not a mistake. Your moments are not accidents. When you wake up in that window, you must understand, heaven is trying to get your attention. That is not the time to scroll. That is not the time to complain. That is not the time to go back to sleep. If you wake up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., do these three things, and watch your life begin to change. First, be still and listen. Don't reach for your phone. Don't rush into movement. Just sit or kneel quietly and listen. There is something trying to reach you. Wisdom, clarity, instruction. The answers you've been searching for often come in the silence. You see, revelation doesn't come to the noisy soul. It comes to the still one. Second, speak to your Creator. This is the hour of alignment. The veil between the natural and the spiritual is thinnest in these hours. This is the time to pray, not just for things, but for insight, for purpose, for power. Open your mouth and declare who you are. Declare what you've been sent to do. Speak vision into your day before the world speaks confusion into your mind. Third, right. That's right. When something is whispered into your heart at 4 a.m., write it down. Dreams fade if they are not recorded. Vision grows when it is written. Your future is shaped by what you capture in the quiet. When heaven gives you a sentence, don't lose it in sleep. Write it down and then run with it. Some of the greatest ideas, revelations, and shifts in destiny have come in these hidden hours. The world is not watching you then. No one is clapping. But that's when kings are made, that's when visionaries are born, that's when warriors are strengthened. You don't prepare on the battlefield, you prepare in the secret place. I say to you today, stop ignoring your 3 a.m. wake-up call. That is not insomnia, that is invitation. You are being called into responsibility. You are being called into clarity. You are being called into alignment. If you keep sleeping through your moment of awakening, you may keep sleeping through your destiny. You don't need more hours in your day, you need more purpose in your hour. When the world is still, you must rise, because when morning comes, the one who wakes early, prepared and focused, will lead those who slept through opportunity. If you wake up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., do not waste that moment, use it, steward it, and your life will shift. This is not about being religious, this is about being responsible. This is not about being busy. This is about being available to purpose, available to divine guidance, available to become who you were created to be. The early hours are not just hours of the clock. They are hours of calling. Answer them. There is something very special about the early morning hours, especially the time between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. If you have ever woken up during this time, especially more than once, you may have wondered why. Many people think it's just a random thing. Maybe it's the body adjusting, or maybe it's stress or something else. But sometimes waking up in these quiet hours is not about the body at all. It's about the spirit. It's not just a random moment. It is often a call, a quiet invitation, a gentle knock on the door of your soul. These hours are the most silent part of the day. The world is asleep. The noise of traffic is gone. The rush of people, phones, work, and noise is not yet here. Everything is still, and in that stillness, something beautiful happens. Your heart can hear more clearly. Your thoughts are more open. Your spirit is more awake. This is often when God, or whatever name you use for the higher voice in your life, speaks the loudest. Not with a shout, but with a whisper. Waking up in that time is not always about getting up to do something big or dramatic. Sometimes it's about just being still, just sitting with your thoughts, just listening in the silence. Some people call it prayer. Some call it reflection, some just call it peace, but whatever you name it, the moment itself is a gift, a sacred space to connect with something deeper than daily life. You may have noticed that your mind thinks differently at that time. You may feel clearer. Sometimes you remember dreams more vividly. Sometimes you feel a sense of peace or even a little heaviness in your chest, like something important is happening. That is not your imagination. That is your inner life speaking. That is the place where purpose lies. That is the place where answers come. Many people throughout history have known this. Writers, leaders, teachers, and spiritual seekers have all found power in the early hours. They understood that these hours are not empty. They are full of meaning, full of possibility, full of divine energy. It's when the world is sleeping that heaven sometimes opens up to those who are awake. You may not hear a voice, you may not see anything. But if you pay attention, you will begin to sense things. You may feel a need to pray. You may feel the need to write something down. You may suddenly get an idea, a solution, a reminder, or a sense of direction. This is why so many people keep a journal nearby or take time to be quiet and still during this hour. The heart hears better when the world is quiet. Sometimes you wake up because something needs your attention. Not your job, not your bills, but your soul, your inner life. Maybe there is a pain that needs healing. Maybe there is a dream that needs to be remembered. Maybe there is a part of you that is being called to grow. Often, this kind of awakening is not about problems, but about purpose. You are being invited to pause and connect with who you really are. It is easy to miss this moment. You wake up, you look at the clock, and you roll over and go back to sleep. That is understandable. Sleep is important. But if this waking happens often, if it becomes a pattern, then it may be time to respond to it differently. Instead of pushing it away, lean into it. Sit up. Be still, listen, pray, write, breathe. You may be surprised at what you hear. You may be surprised by what begins to change in your life. This waking is not about fear. It is not about worry. It is about alignment. Your body may be tired, but your spirit is awake. That early moment is like a quiet meeting place, a room where heaven and earth meet, a moment where you can check in with your purpose and direction. Maybe your soul is trying to remind you of something. Maybe there is a change coming and you are being prepared. These hours are not loud. They do not shout, but they are powerful. Many people say that the things they learned during those early morning moments changed their lives. Some people made life-changing decisions. Some received peace that they had not felt in years. Some remembered dreams they had long forgotten. Others found courage to keep going when they had been close to giving up. It all began with waking up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. and choosing not to ignore it. That moment is not about doing. It is about being open, being present, being connected. It is about turning down the noise of the world and turning up the volume of your inner life. When you wake up in that window of time, it may be the best chance all day for you to hear your heart clearly. Not your fears, not your stress, but your true voice. You don't need to wake up every day at that hour. You don't need to force it, but when it happens naturally, when it keeps happening, it is wise to pay attention. The deepest moments of your life are not always loud. They come like a quiet knock, a gentle whisper, a silent nudge. That is often how life guides us, especially in those still hours when the rest of the world is asleep. So the next time you wake up and it's dark and quiet, and the clock says 3:30 or 4:15, and something in you feels alert even though your body is tired, don't rush to ignore it. Don't just go back to sleep right away. Take a few moments, breathe, listen, reflect, maybe even pray, maybe write something down. That moment could be an invitation. That moment could hold something sacred. That moment could change your day or your life. Not every early waking is a spiritual call, but many are. And if you keep waking up at that time, it may be more than just sleep. It may be a sign that you are being called higher, called deeper, called forward, not by accident, but on purpose. In life, there is always something happening. There are always sounds, movement, pressure, and noise all around us. We wake up and the day begins with rushing. rushing to work, rushing through tasks, rushing through conversations. Our minds are full of thoughts. We are thinking about yesterday, worried about today, and unsure about tomorrow. The world moves fast, and we often feel like we have to keep up. But in all this speed and noise, something important gets lost. That important thing is clarity. Clarity is the ability to see clearly. It is when your mind knows what to do, your heart feels peaceful, and your next step becomes easier to take. But clarity does not come through more noise. It does not come from rushing. It does not come from trying to force answers. Clarity comes through stillness, when everything outside becomes quiet, and when everything inside begins to settle, something begins to happen. The fog starts to lift, your thoughts slow down, your breathing becomes calmer, and suddenly, things that felt confusing before begin to make sense. Stillness is not just about sitting quietly with your eyes closed. Stillness is more than the absence of sound. Stillness is when you pause everything, you stop talking, you stop trying to fix things, you stop trying to control, you stop running from one thing to another. In that pause, you allow space for your thoughts, for your feelings, for your heart to catch up. And in that space, you begin to hear what you could not hear before. So many people ask questions like, what should I do with my life? Or how do I fix this problem? Or why do I feel stuck? These are real questions, but the answers to these questions do not come from outside. They do not come from other people's noise. They do not come from scrolling, from distraction, from overthinking. The answers often live inside you, but they are covered up by too much noise. Stillness is what removes that noise. It is like cleaning a dirty window. You didn't need a new view. You just needed the window to be clear. When you make time for stillness, even just a few minutes a day, your life begins to change. You begin to notice things you didn't see before. You begin to hear your own voice again, the voice you had lost in the rush. That voice may whisper truth. It may remind you of your purpose. It may tell you to slow down or to let go of something, or it may simply give you peace. But whatever it gives you, it will come quietly, not loudly. One of the greatest challenges today is that we are surrounded by constant noise. Phones buzz, screens flash, people talk, alerts go off, and we think we need to stay connected to everything all the time. But staying connected to everything else often disconnects us from ourselves. We forget who we are. We forget what really matters. We forget to breathe deeply. We forget to listen to our own heart. Stillness brings us back. Stillness gives us time to reflect, to think about our lives, to ask important questions, to consider what we are doing and why we are doing it. Without stillness, we may end up living a life that is full of activity but empty of meaning. We may succeed in the eyes of the world but feel lost in our own soul. That is why we must stop, at least for a few moments, and be still. Being still is not always easy. At first, it can feel uncomfortable. Your mind may run in circles. You may feel restless. You may want to grab your phone or turn on music or do something. But if you stay with the stillness, if you give it time, it begins to open up. Like a flower in the sun, your heart begins to open. Thoughts begin to quiet down, breathing becomes softer, and from deep within, clarity begins to rise. Clarity is not just about knowing what to do. It's also about feeling connected to who you are. It's about feeling peace in your decision. It's about walking forward without fear. It's about knowing what matters most to you. All of this comes more easily when you stop and make room for it. Stillness helps us respond instead of react. When life throws something difficult at you, your first reaction might be fear or anger or confusion. But when you have a still place inside you, you don't react right away. You breathe, you pause, and from that pause, a better response comes, a wiser response, a clearer response. This is how stillness protects us. It gives us a quiet space where we can think before we speak, act, or decide. Stillness also gives us strength. When you are always busy and always moving, you get tired. You may look fine on the outside, but inside you are running on empty. Stillness fills your soul again. It gives you a chance to rest, to heal, to grow stronger. It is not weakness to be still. It is wisdom. A wise person knows that doing more is not always better. Sometimes doing less and being quiet is what leads to greater power. Some of the most powerful moments in life happen in silence. not in the crowd, not on the stage, but in the quiet of your own heart. That is where you hear the truth. That is where you make decisions that change your life. That is where you receive peace that cannot be shaken. But you must go to that place on purpose. You must choose to turn down the noise and sit in the stillness. Stillness will not always give you the full answer right away, but it will give you enough for the next step, and that's all you need. You don't need to see the whole road. You just need to see clearly where to place your foot today. Stillness helps you see that next step. And once you take that, the next will appear. The more you practice stillness, the more it becomes a part of you. It is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And soon you will be able to carry that stillness with you, even when life is noisy. Even in busy places, you will have peace inside. Even when others panic, you will have clarity. This is the gift of stillness. In the end, the answers we seek are not far away. They are not hidden in some distant place. They are waiting in the quiet. They are waiting in the stillness. All we have to do is stop running, stop talking, stop rushing, and listen, because stillness is not empty. Stillness is full, and what it gives us, more than anything, is clarity. There are moments in life that feel quiet and still. Early in the morning, when the world is sleeping, everything is silent, the air is calm, the sky is still dark. No cars, no noise, no rushing, just peace. In that quiet space, something feels different. It feels like time has slowed down. It feels like your heart is open. It feels like something sacred is near. This is the perfect moment for prayer. Prayer is not just about asking for things. It is not only about giving a list of needs or saying the same words again and again. True prayer is a connection. It is a conversation. It is when your heart speaks and listens at the same time. It is when you bring your thoughts, your feelings, your questions, and even your pain before the one who understands it all. And the best time for this kind of deep and focused prayer is when there is no noise, no distractions, and no rush. When you wake up early, maybe between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., and you feel wide awake without any reason, that might be a calling. Not a call from your body, but a call from your spirit. It might be a sign that it's time to pray. That time is not a mistake. It's not random. It's not just about waking up early. It's an invitation. Something within you is being called to step into a deeper place. A place where you are not busy. A place where your mind is quiet. A place where your heart is open. A place where prayer can become real and powerful. In this deep and focused prayer, you do not need fancy words. You do not need to sound strong or holy. You do not need to pretend. Just be honest. Speak from your heart. If you feel pain, speak it. If you are confused, admit it. If you are tired, say it. If you are thankful, express it. Prayer is not about performance. It is about truth, and the early hours give you the space to be honest without fear or distraction. During this time, your soul is awake in a way that it may not be during the rest of the day. Your thoughts are clearer. Your spirit is more sensitive. That is why your prayer can go deeper. You can feel more. You can hear more. Sometimes in the quiet, you may not even speak. You may just sit in the presence of the one who sees you. You may cry. You may feel peace. You may feel nothing at all. But still, that moment is holy. There is something powerful about praying when nobody else is watching, when there is no pressure, when it's just you and the one who made you. That kind of prayer changes you. It fills you with peace that you did not know you needed. It clears your mind. It gives you strength. It helps you let go of things that are too heavy for you to carry. It reminds you that you are not alone. In the quiet of that time, you can pray for your life, for your direction, for your heart, for your family, for the people you love, for people you don't even know. You can pray for your future, and you can pray about your past. You can bring your questions, your dreams, your fears, and your hopes. There is no limit to what you can bring. Deep, focused prayer is not about what you say. It is about what you release. It is about what you allow to be healed inside you. This time of prayer can become the most important part of your day. When you begin your day with prayer, your mind is more peaceful. Your heart is more grounded. You are less shaken by stress or fear. You start the day from a place of strength, not weakness. You start from a place of connection, not confusion. Many people say they do not know how to pray. But prayer is not about rules. It is about relationship. Just speak like you are talking to someone who loves you, someone who knows your heart better than you do, someone who sees your pain but still calls you strong, someone who does not judge you for being weak but lifts you when you fall. That is who you are speaking to in prayer. You do not have to get everything right. You do not have to sound perfect. You just have to be willing. Willing to be still, willing to be honest, willing to open your heart, willing to trust. That is enough. That is where deep and focused prayer begins. And when you come to that space early in the morning, when everything is quiet, you will find that something inside you begins to change. Slowly but deeply. You may not see results right away, but over time you will feel the difference. You will feel stronger. You will feel clearer. You will begin to hear direction that you didn't hear before. You will make decisions with more confidence. You will feel more peace in places where there was once fear. That is what prayer does. It is not always loud or emotional. Sometimes it is gentle, but it always works. The early morning hours are a gift. They are a chance to reset, a chance to align your heart, a chance to hear clearly, a chance to release what you were never meant to carry. When you give those hours to deep, focused prayer, you are not losing sleep. You are gaining strength. You are gaining wisdom. You are gaining peace. So the next time you wake up and the world is still, and you feel awake without a reason, don't rush back to sleep. Sit up, breathe, close your eyes, speak from your heart. Or say nothing and just listen. That moment could be a turning point. That moment could be the answer to something you've been carrying for years. That moment could change everything. Use that time for deep, focused prayer. Let it be your meeting place. Let it be your place of healing. Let it be where your soul finds rest. Because in those quiet moments you are not alone. You are being held. You are being heard. And something within you is being made new. Sometimes your heart is trying to speak to you, but the world is too loud. Sometimes your thoughts are trying to show you something, but you are too busy. And sometimes something deeper. A quiet voice, a soft feeling, a sudden thought tries to rise within you, but you don't stop long enough to notice it. This is why writing things down is so important. Writing helps you listen. Writing helps you see what you might otherwise miss. When you write down what you hear or feel, you give a voice to things that are often silent. You may wake up one morning with a strange feeling. Or maybe during prayer or stillness, something touches your heart. Maybe it's a thought that surprises you. Maybe it's a word that repeats in your mind. Maybe it's a quiet peace or a sudden idea. Maybe you don't fully understand what it means, but it stays with you. In that moment, take a pen and write it down. Don't wait. Don't think it's not important. Don't say, "I'll remember it later." Write it down. Writing things down helps your heart slow down. It helps your mind become calm. It helps your thoughts become clearer. When you write, you are not trying to impress anyone. You are not trying to sound perfect. You are simply listening to yourself and to the quiet voice within you. And when you put those thoughts and feelings on paper, they become real. They don't just float away. They stay, and they become something you can return to later. Sometimes you may write something and not understand why. Maybe it's a question, maybe it's a feeling of sadness or joy. Maybe it's a dream you had or a word that came to you while praying. At the time, it might not make sense. But later, when you read it again, you may see something you missed. You may understand what you didn't understand before. This is why it's so important to write it down. Some things are only meant to be understood after time has passed. Writing also helps you become honest with yourself. There are things we don't always say out loud. There are thoughts we keep to ourselves, feelings we hide, questions we're afraid to ask. But when you write, you can be honest. No one is judging you. No one is correcting you. You can speak the truth. You can say what you're really thinking. You can express what you're truly feeling. And that kind of honesty is powerful. It can heal you. It can guide you. It can help you grow. Maybe you are praying and you feel something in your heart, a small whisper, A quiet peace, an idea that lights something up inside you. Don't just let it pass. Don't say, "That was nice," and forget it. Pick up a notebook and write it down. It doesn't have to be long. Just a few words, a sentence, a thought. Later, you can come back to it and see how much it meant. Sometimes, writing can be the way you hear answers. You may not hear a loud voice or see a big sign, but when you write what you're thinking and feeling, sometimes something flows through the pen that surprises even you. A new idea, a new way to look at things, a calmness that you didn't expect. It's as if in the writing something speaks back to you. Over time, if you keep writing down what you hear or feel, you will begin to notice patterns. You will see what keeps showing up in your heart. You will see what you are drawn to. You will see what needs healing, what needs attention, and what brings you peace. It's like holding a mirror up to your soul. You begin to understand yourself in a deeper way. Writing also helps you remember. Life moves fast. We forget easily. Something powerful may come to you during a quiet moment, and you may feel like you will never forget it. But by the end of the day, it's gone. This is why writing matters. When you write it down, you keep it. You can read it again tomorrow, next week, or even years later, and it will remind you of what was placed in your heart. You don't need to be a good writer. You don't need fancy words. This is not about writing a book or sharing your words with the world. This is personal. This is just between you and the page. You can write in short phrases. You can write in full sentences. You can draw. You can write like you talk. There are no rules. Just express what is inside you. Even when you feel nothing, even when you hear nothing, writing can help. You can write, "I don't feel anything right now," or "I feel tired," or "I don't know what to pray for." That's still important. That's still real. Sometimes just the act of writing opens up the heart. It is like knocking on a door, and slowly the door begins to open. You may write down your dreams. You may write your fears. You may write your prayers. You may write things you are thankful for. You may write things you're struggling to let go of. All of it matters. All of it is part of the journey. And when you look back later, you will be amazed. You will see how far you've come. You will see how your heart has grown. You will see answers that came. You will see how you changed over time. Writing also helps you be still. It gives you something quiet to do that keeps your focus. Instead of letting your mind wander everywhere, you can sit with a pen and paper and let your thoughts settle. It becomes a peaceful space, a place of rest, a place where you can hear more clearly. So when you are in a quiet moment, whether you wake up early in the morning or you take time during the day to pray or think, keep a notebook nearby, keep a pen ready, and when you feel something, hear something, or notice something that touches you, write it down. Even if it feels small, even if it feels strange, write it anyway. One day, that little note may be the exact reminder you need. One day, those quiet words may become the answer to a big question. One day, that simple writing may become a treasure that shows you how deeply you were guided, even when you didn't see it at the time. So write it down, write what you hear, write what you feel, let your heart speak. And let the page listen. There is something special about the early hours of the morning. When most people are still asleep, the world is quiet, the streets are empty, the noise is gone, everything feels still. It is in these quiet hours, between sleep and sunrise, that something powerful begins to happen. In these moments, you are not distracted, you are not rushing, you are not busy trying to keep up with the demands of the day. It is just you and your thoughts, you and your heart, you and the one who gave you life. These quiet hours are where destiny is shaped. Destiny is not something that just happens suddenly. It is not a loud announcement. It does not always come with a big sign. Destiny is shaped in silence. It is built in small choices, in quiet thoughts, in private prayers, and in moments when no one else is watching. It grows in the unseen places. It grows when you are sitting alone with your thoughts, asking questions, searching for answers, and seeking direction. In these moments, the seeds of your future are being planted. Most people look for big changes in loud places. They think destiny is found in crowds, on stages, or through fame and success. But the truth is, your true direction is often found in silence. When the world is quiet, you can finally hear your inner voice. You can finally hear your heart speak. You can finally notice the thoughts that usually get drowned out by noise. You can feel things you usually ignore. That is why the early morning hours are so important. They create the space you need to connect with what really matters. In these early hours, you can reflect. You can look at your life without pressure. You can think about your choices, your habits, and your path. You can ask deep questions. Am I becoming the person I want to be? Am I living on purpose? Am I making the most of my time, my talents, and my life? These questions do not need to be rushed. You can sit with them. You can think deeply. And in that space of quiet thought, something begins to form, a new desire, a new idea, a new direction that is destiny taking shape. In these hours, you can pray, you can listen. You can open your heart to guidance. You can cry if you need to. You can laugh. You can feel peace. You can receive strength. There is no pressure in these moments. No one is expecting anything from you. No one is watching. This is the time when your heart and your spirit are the most open. When you use this time to connect deeply with your purpose, you are shaping your future in ways you may not even understand yet. Many people say they do not have time to focus on their dreams or their growth. But often, it is not about having more time. It is about using the quiet time you already have. Even just 1 hour in the early morning, spent with intention, can change everything. In that 1 hour, you can set your focus. You can write your thoughts. You can pray. You can read. You can plan. You can listen to your heart. You can listen to the one who created you. And slowly, day by day, those quiet moments begin to build something powerful. When you give attention to your inner life in the early hours, your outer life becomes stronger. You begin to make better choices. You begin to see more clearly. You are not easily shaken by stress or noise. You carry peace within you. You are focused. You are grounded, and this shows in everything you do. The quiet time shapes your mind and your heart, and that shapes your actions. This is how destiny works. It begins inside in stillness before it shows on the outside. Some of the greatest ideas, greatest books, greatest songs, and greatest life decisions were born in quiet moments. Not in crowds, not in meetings, but in stillness when someone woke up early, listened to their heart, and wrote something down, or when someone prayed with tears in their eyes and found peace in their spirit, or when someone sat in silence and finally saw the truth they had been avoiding. Those moments are the beginning of great change. Your future is not shaped by what everyone sees. It is shaped by what you do when no one is watching. It is shaped by the thoughts you feed, the dreams you protect, and the prayers you whisper in the dark. This is why the early morning hours matter so much. They are your time to build from the inside out. They are your time to shape your character, to strengthen your spirit, and to plan your path. And the best part is, you don't need to be perfect in these moments. You just need to show up, sit quietly, open your heart, be honest, think, listen, pray, write, reflect. These simple actions done over time will shape your destiny. It may feel slow. It may feel like nothing is happening. But little by little, something is growing inside you. Something strong, something beautiful, something full of purpose. When the rest of the world wakes up, they may not see what happened in your early hours. But they will feel it. They will see it in the way you carry yourself, in the way you speak, in the way you work, in the peace that follows you. That is the result of a shaped destiny. That is the fruit of quiet hours spent in purpose. So if you find yourself awake in the early morning, don't rush back to sleep. Don't waste those moments. Sit up, breathe, open your heart. Ask questions, pray, think, listen, write, plan, and know that in that quiet time, something sacred is happening. Your life is being shaped. Your direction is becoming clearer. Your spirit is being strengthened, and your destiny is being prepared. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to be present in the moment. Trust the process. Stay faithful to the quiet hours. Keep showing up. Keep listening. Keep growing. And one day, you will look back and realize that everything began in the silence. Everything started when you decided to listen to the whisper, to slow down and to shape your destiny. One quiet morning at a time. Sometimes you wake up in the early hours of the morning for no clear reason. You look at the clock and it says 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. Your body feels alert, even though you want to go back to sleep. There is no loud noise, no alarm, no reason to be awake. Yet, something inside you is awake. In moments like this, it may not be just your body that is rising. It may be your spirit. There is a quiet voice calling you to pay attention, to rise, to listen, and to be still. This is the call to awaken. And it should not be ignored. This call may come softly. It doesn't shout. It doesn't force you. It just nudges you gently. It may come in the form of restlessness, or a feeling of peace that surrounds you, or a strange clarity in your mind. This moment, even though it seems small or random, may be something sacred. It may be a signal that it is time to connect with something deeper, something more than just daily life. If you ignore it, you might go back to sleep. But if you answer it, you may begin to experience something that will change you. Many people spend their lives sleeping, not just with their eyes closed, but with their hearts closed. They move through life without thinking deeply. They live without asking questions. They wake up, go to work, go through the motions, and go to sleep again. But deep down, something inside them wants more. Something inside them longs for purpose, meaning, and truth. The call to awaken is an invitation to begin looking for that more. It is a call to stop living by routine and start living by intention. When you are awakened in the early hours, it is not always for your comfort. It is not always to make life easier. Sometimes it is to stretch you, to wake you up to something you've been ignoring. Maybe you've been too busy to think about what really matters. Maybe you've been avoiding a difficult truth. Maybe there is a change you need to make or a step you need to take. The early hours are quiet. They allow space for you to face these things honestly. They give you a moment to stop and see clearly. In the silence of early morning, your heart is more open, your thoughts are softer, the world is not pulling you in different directions. This is when the deeper parts of you can finally rise to the surface. This is when you can pray, reflect, and hear what your soul has been trying to say. You may not get all the answers at once. You may not even understand what you feel. But if you keep showing up, if you keep listening, you will start to see a pattern. You will begin to understand the message in the moment. The call to awaken is a gift. It is not something to fear. It is something to honor. You don't need to have all the right words. You don't need to do anything perfect. You just need to be present. Sit with yourself. Be still. Talk to your Creator. Write what you feel. Ask questions. Open your heart. The answers may not come immediately, but the peace will. And where there is peace, there is often direction. Ignoring the call may feel easier. You might say it's too early, or I need more sleep, or I'll do it later. But every time you delay, you miss a moment that was prepared just for you. You miss a chance to hear clearly. You miss a step that could lead you to something greater. The early hours are not meant to last forever. The moment passes. The day begins. The noise returns. So when the moment comes, take it. Receive it. Respond to it. Awakening is not just about rising early in the morning. It's about rising from within. It's about opening your eyes to who you are and why you are here. It's about waking up to your potential, your purpose, and your power. It's about breaking free from habits that no longer serve you. It's about healing from wounds you've hidden. It's about living with truth instead of pretending. And all of this begins in the still moments, when you choose to listen and not turn away. If you ignore the call for too long, your life may start to feel dry. You may go through the motions, but feel empty inside. You may succeed on the outside, but feel lost on the inside. This is not how you were meant to live. You were created for more. You were given a purpose. You were born to shine light, to grow, to learn, to love, and to leave something behind. The call to awaken is the first step toward that life. It is the beginning of walking in truth. Even if you don't understand it all, trust that something greater is happening. You don't have to figure everything out today. Just begin. Sit with the stillness. Ask the questions. Write what you hear or feel. Pray from your heart. Keep a notebook by your bed. Wake up gently and say, I'm here, I'm listening. That alone is a powerful start. That alone begins to move things inside you. Over time, as you keep responding to these early morning calls, your life will start to change. You will become more aware, more clear, more connected. You will feel stronger in your spirit. You will begin to make better choices. You will begin to speak with more wisdom. People may notice that you carry a quiet confidence, that you have a calm strength, that you live with peace. This is the result of awakening. This is the fruit of listening in the dark when the rest of the world sleeps. So don't ignore the call to awaken. Don't turn away from the moment. Don't close your eyes and push it aside. If your heart is being stirred, there is a reason. If you are being awakened, there is something to receive. These early moments are not just about time. They are about transformation. They are about opening your life to what is real and true. Awakening is a journey. It does not happen in one day, but it starts with one choice, one moment of saying yes, 1 hour of listening, one quiet prayer. And from there, everything begins to shift. Your heart becomes lighter, your path becomes clearer, your steps become stronger, and your life begins to reflect the beauty that was always waiting inside you. So when that quiet moment comes again, when you wake up before the sun and feel that gentle call inside, don't ignore it, answer it, rise, listen, be still, and let the awakening begin. My friend, life is not waiting for you to be perfect. Life is waiting for you to wake up. Your future is not found in more sleep, but in more clarity. And clarity comes when you answer the quiet call within your soul. You were not created to just survive day to day. You were born to live with purpose on purpose. So when that early morning moment comes again, and it will, don't roll over, don't ignore it. Sit up, listen, speak, be still. Let your Creator speak to your heart. Because every time you rise in those quiet hours, you are not just waking up. You are rising into the life you were born to live. And if you keep answering the call day by day, you won't just be awake. You'll be alive, so wake up and stay awake. Your destiny is waiting.